Welcome to the Plugged In Vodcast. I'm Kristin Smith.
I'm Paul Asay.
And I'm Adam Holz.
And we're here today to talk about the Oscars. So the Oscars have added a new category that we wanted to talk about today. Adam, could you tell us a little more about that?
The official name of this new category is Outstanding Achievement in Popular Film. And, the Oscars are this August organization, and when they make changes, it's, really newsworthy. And for years now, there has been this sort of criticism that the Oscars tend to pick films that not very many people have actually seen, and perhaps that hurts, whether people tune into the broadcast or not. So this feels like a kind of a play to engage the mainstream audience more thoroughly than perhaps they've done before. And I think there are probably some pros and cons to this change. We're going to talk about those and how they impact our families as well.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting thing that they've done. And what you say, Adam, is absolutely right. I think that when you look at the Oscars have watched their ratings go down for quite a while. They're still a hugely popular show, but the truth is that not a lot of people necessarily know a lot of the movies that are being nominated for Best Picture. That doesn't mean that they're not quality movies. And there's been one of the things that I think about when I think about this particular category is really there's a bunch of really popular films that probably could have been nominated for Best Picture for a long time.
Yeah.
I think that sometimes the nomination process, for whatever reason, tends to be a little more elitist, and it tends to downgrade some of the really popular, really good films that we can see every year.
Yeah, and I think one of the consequences of this is that we're going to see basically the big blockbusters, I'm guessing, are going to be in contention. And so one of the questions I have is, well, is this going to be anticlimactic? Is it, okay, well, this year we'll have, Black Panther and Avengers Infinity War. Like, it seems pretty obvious what potentially is in the mix. And so do you just rubber stamp what the culture has already voted for?
It's a tricky thing. It's a tricky thing. And the thing that I worry might happen is that people are going to, it will almost make it a little more elitist in a sense, because you're going to have, it's going to make it less likely that some of these popular movies like Black Panther, these changes aren't coming
Wonder Woman last year, people talked about being nominated.
Right. These changes won't be in effect for this Oscar, so Black Panther could land in the nomination. But if it did happen this year, would they just forget about Black Panther as a Best Picture potential nominee? Yeah. Would they just throw it in the most popular film? It just feels like a very strange move to me. Because they're doing this essentially for ratings. Would it make you more likely to watch, Kristin?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think hands down. I mean, I enjoy the Oscars, but I think with the popular film category, I don't know how this would be with family, but I think it would be really good for all the kids or the teenagers that have seen this. They might tune in and want to know if it won, and then they're rooting for it, kind of like you would in any show.
Yeah, I know that my 11-year-old son, we always watch the Oscar broadcast, and usually the kids are in the other room because they often have totally inappropriate things in the Oscar broadcast.
Yeah.
He'll often chime in as like, is Star Wars nominated for this category?
Yeah.
No. Well, why not? It should be.
Yeah.
It brings those people into the mix.
Yeah. No,
for better or worse.
And you just alluded to this, Kristin, actually, is in some ways this will be, in a strange sort of way, a positive thing for families, I think, because when you look at the pictures that are typically nominated for Best Picture, many of them tend to be R-rated, very harsh, very problematic.
Yeah, I mean, they're not family friendly.
Exactly. The most popular movies tend to be PG-13 movies, which can sort of bring in more families. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to be perfect.
Sure.
But Black Panther has some great messages.
Right.
You have a lot of those interesting PG movies and PG-13 movies that I think families are more likely to have seen. And for them to know of a movie that's getting rewarded for its excellence might not be all that bad.
Yeah, and I wonder if it actually further marginalizes the Best Picture category. It becomes even more hoity-toity and more elitist. The category is called Outstanding Achievement in Popular Film, which sort of makes the Best Picture category sound like Outstanding Achievement in Unpopular Film. I don't know that it's of great existential importance,
Right.
in the big picture. But I wonder if in the attempt to appeal to the masses, they actually end up diluting the brand in ways that maybe they hadn't expected, which, again, I'm not sure how important that is for our purposes, but
it's an
certainly
interesting point.
It's interesting to talk
Yeah,
about.
and I think that whenever we look at these movies, for sure, check in with our movie reviews. There can
Absolutely.
be some really excellent movies that have some really problematic content. Be sure to check us for any movie that you see, whether it's a popular movie or a Best Picture nominee.
Oscar, not Oscar.
We'd like to know what you guys think. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Let us know. You can comment below. Thanks so much.